The waiter refilled my wine glass for the third time as I checked my phone again. Tara was 45 minutes late to the best restaurant in town, where I'd planned to tell her about the mansion I'd just bought as a surprise. The candles flickered between us. Well, between me and her empty chair. My phone buzzed. Stuck in traffic, just tell me what you wanted. 8 years of marriage, and this is what it had become. I typed back, nothing anymore. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The irony wasn't lost on me. Julian Hayes, 38, real estate investor, worth more than most people in this upscale suburb would ever see, sitting alone like some desperate fool. But something had shifted in that moment, something cold and calculating that I'd kept buried under years of trying to be the perfect husband. I drove home to our glass and steel showpiece, the kind of house Tara loved posting about on Instagram. She was already there, sprawled on the white leather couch, scrolling through her phone. Her lifestyle influencer brand had grown to nearly 50,000 followers who hung on her every curated word about our blessed life. "Hey, babe," she said without looking up. "Sorry about dinner. You know how crazy my schedule gets." "Right. Your schedule." She finally glanced at me, her perfectly contoured face showing mild irritation. "Don't be dramatic, Julian. What was so important anyway?" I could have told her about the mansion then, the sprawling estate with the pool and guest house, the one she'd mentioned loving when we drove past it 6 months ago. Instead, I watched her scroll through comments from strangers who thought they knew our perfect life. "Nothing that can't wait," I said. Over the next few days, I noticed things I'd been blind to before. How she'd grown cold when I touched her shoulder. How she'd started working late at content creation meetings that never seemed to produce much content. How she'd mock my predictable habits to her friends, thinking I couldn't hear. The breaking point came on Thursday night. I was in my home office when I heard her on the phone in the kitchen, her voice carrying that fake sweetness she used for her followers. "Bryce says the house is ugly anyway," she laughed. "Julian's so basic. He thinks a mansion will make me happy. Like, hello, I have my own career now." Bryce. I knew that name. Bryce Kincaid, the flashy gym owner who'd been liking every single one of her Instagram posts lately. The same guy who'd been sliding into her comments with fire emojis and gorgeous as always messages. I sat there in the dark, listening to my wife of 8 years trash me to her lover, and something inside me snapped clean in half. The next morning, I made 3 phone calls. First to my lawyer, Dave Morrison, who'd handled all my real estate deals. Second to my accountant. Third to my mother, Gloria, who'd raised me to be smarter than the people who underestimated me. "Mom, I need you to do me a favor," I said, sitting in my car outside the county courthouse. "What's wrong, honey? You sound different." "I'm about to be. Can you meet me at the title office in an hour?" By noon, the mansion was legally transferred to Gloria Hayes. By 2 o'clock, I'd filed for divorce. By 3, I'd moved our joint savings to an account in my name only, completely legal since I was the sole earner. Tara's credit cards, all tied to my accounts, were canceled. I spent the afternoon at my mother's modest but comfortable house, the same one where she'd taught me that actions have consequences and that sometimes the people who love you most are the ones who'll help you burn it all down. "She's been calling," Mom said, handing me a cup of coffee. 15 times in the last hour. Letter. "Julian, are you sure about this?" I showed her the screenshots I'd taken of Tara's Instagram DMs with Bryce. The flirting, the plans to meet, the way she called me boring and clueless in messages she thought I'd never see. Mom's face hardened. At 62, Gloria Hayes had survived my father's passing, raised me alone, and built a successful catering business from nothing. She didn't suffer fools, and she definitely didn't suffer cheaters. "What do you need me to do?" That evening, I finally answered Tara's calls. "Julian, thank God. Where are you? My cards aren't working and there's something wrong with our account. The bank says—" "I know what the bank says." "What? Julian, what's going on? Come home so we can talk." "I'm not coming home, Tara. Check your email." I hung up and waited. It took exactly 4 minutes for her to call back, screaming, "You can't do this! You can't just file for divorce without talking to me." Actually, I can. And I did. This is insane. Over what? Because I was late to dinner? This isn't about dinner, it's about Bryce. The silence stretched so long I thought she'd hung up. "I don't know what you think you know," she finally said, her voice smaller now. "I know enough. The mansion you wanted, the one you told him was ugly, it's gone, signed over to my mother this morning. You're lying. Check the county records. It's public information." Another silence then. "Julian, please, can we just talk, face to face?" "No, my lawyer will be in touch about the settlement. Don't call me again." I blocked her number and settled in to watch the show. It started on Instagram. Her stories became increasingly frantic, vague posts about going through a difficult time and fake people showing their true colors. Her follower count began dropping as the carefully curated facade cracked. Then came the desperate visit to my mother's house. I watched from the living room window as Tara stumbled up the front walk at 11 p.m., mascara streaked, designer dress wrinkled. "Julian!" She pounded on the door. "I know you're in there! Please, we can work this out!" Mom opened the door with the calm authority of a woman who'd dealt with plenty of drama in her 62 years. "He doesn't want to see you, dear." "Mrs. Hayes, please. There's been a misunderstanding. Julian thinks I'm having an affair, but it's not what it looks like." "What does it look like?" I called from behind Mom. Tara pushed past my mother, mistake number 1, and stumbled into the living room where I sat calmly drinking coffee. "It looks like you've been screwing Bryce Kincaid for 3 months while telling him how boring and predictable your husband is," I said. "That's not— I have screenshots, Tara, of everything." She collapsed onto Mom's floral couch, suddenly looking far older than 35. "Julian, please, I made a mistake. I was confused and lonely, and Bryce, he made me feel special, appreciated, all the things I apparently didn't do." "Yes. No. I mean, you're always working and we never talk anymore, and so you decided to talk to him, in his bed." She started crying then, the ugly kind of crying that ruined makeup and showed who people really were underneath. "I'll end it. I'll delete all my social media. We can start over." "With what money? Your influencer career is about to tank when people figure out your perfect life was a lie, and the settlement you'll get from our divorce won't buy you a studio apartment, let alone the lifestyle you're used to. You can't leave me with nothing." "I'm not leaving you with nothing. I'm leaving you with exactly what you brought to this marriage, which, if memory serves, was about $12,000 in student debt and a closet full of clothes." She looked around desperately, like she was searching for something to grab onto. "Your friends won't stand for this. Dave Morrison, the Richardsons, everyone we know, they'll see how cruel you're being." I laughed, and it surprised me how bitter it sounded. "You think they don't already know? You think people haven't noticed your cozy little gym sessions with Bryce? This is a small town, Tara. People talk." That's when she tried a different approach. Standing up, smoothing her dress, putting on that practiced smile that had charmed thousands of followers. "Julian, honey, I know you're hurt, but we're good together. Remember our trip to Napa? Remember how we used to stay up all night talking about our dreams?" She moved closer, reaching for my hand. "I can make this right. I can be the wife you fell in love with." I pulled away. The wife I fell in love with wouldn't have cheated. She wouldn't have mocked me to her lover, and she sure as hell wouldn't have called the mansion I bought for her ugly, while planning to leave me for a gym owner who's 3 months behind on his lease payments. "What? Oh, you didn't know about Bryce's financial problems. The guy you think is going to rescue you from your boring life is about to lose his business. I guess he forgot to mention that between the texting sessions. The color drained from her face. You're lying. Public records, sweetheart. Just like the mansion transfer. Just like our divorce filing. She stood there swaying slightly, and for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Get out, I said quietly. Julian, get out of my mother's house and don't come back. She left without another word, stumbling back to her car in the driveway. I watched her sit there for 10 minutes, probably calling Bryce, probably getting his voicemail because he was smart enough to see the writing on the wall. You feel better now? Mom asked, settling into her recliner. Not yet, but I will. The final act came 2 weeks later. Tara had been posting increasingly desperate content, trying to maintain her influencer image while her world crumbled. Her follower count had dropped to 30,000 and falling. The brands that had been sending her free products went silent. The lifestyle she'd built on my success was disappearing post by post. I was having lunch at the country club when Dave Morrison sat down across from me, looking uncomfortable. Julian, I need to ask you something. Shoot. Tara called me yesterday. She's asking if I can talk to you about the divorce settlement. And? She seems to think you're being unreasonable. She mentioned something about mental cruelty. I set down my sandwich and looked at my oldest friend, the guy who'd been my best man, who'd handled every major deal of my career. Dave, let me ask you something. If your wife was cheating on you, mocking you to her lover, and planning to leave you after bleeding you dry, what would you do? I'd probably want to ruin someone. Right. But I didn't ruin anyone. I didn't break any laws. I didn't even raise my voice. I just stopped being a doormat. She says you're trying to leave her homeless. She can get a job. She can move in with her sister. She can figure out what millions of divorced women figure out every day. What she can't do is continue living off my success while treating me like garbage. Dave nodded slowly. The guys have been talking. About what? About how she's been acting lately. The stuff with the gym guy. People noticed, Julian. And honestly, most of us were wondering when you were going to wake up. So you're not here to talk me out of the divorce. Hell no. I'm here to tell you that if you need character witnesses about what kind of wife she was, you've got plenty of volunteers. That afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. Julian? This is Bryce. I almost hung up, but curiosity won. What do you want? Look, man, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Tara's really torn up about this whole thing, and I was hoping maybe we could work something out. Work what out? She loves you, man. This thing between us, it was just physical. She wants to come home. Interesting. And what do you get out of this reconciliation? What do you mean? I mean, your gym is about to be foreclosed on, your lease is in default, and your business license is suspended for unpaid taxes. Suddenly, you're very interested in sending my wife back to me. I'm wondering if that's because you can't afford to support her lifestyle. The silence told me everything I needed to know. Stay away from my wife, Bryce, and stay away from me. Your wife? I thought you were getting divorced. Until the papers are final, she's still my wife, which means she's still my problem. But after that, she's all yours. Good luck with that. I hung up and called my lawyer. Dave, how fast can we finalize this divorce? If she doesn't contest it, 60 days. She'll contest it. Then 6 months, maybe more if she drags it out. What if she had a reason not to contest it? Like what? Like evidence of adultery that could be made public. Julian, you don't want to go that route. It'll get messy. Messier than it already is? 3 days later, Tara showed up at my office. My secretary tried to stop her, but Tara pushed past like she owned the place. We need to talk, she said, closing the door behind her. No, we don't. She looked terrible. The perfect hair was limp, the designer clothes were wrinkled, and there were dark circles under her eyes that no amount of concealer could hide. Julian, I'm begging you. I'll sign whatever papers you want. I'll disappear. Just please don't destroy me completely. I'm not destroying you. You did that yourself. You know what I mean. Those photos you have, the screenshots. If those get out, I'll never work again. You're not working now. I could rebuild, start over, but not if you ruin my reputation completely. I leaned back in my chair, studying her. What are you proposing? I'll sign the divorce papers today. No contest, no alimony demands, nothing. I'll take whatever settlement you offer and disappear. In exchange for? You keep the screenshots private. You don't make this any worse than it already is. I pretended to consider it. What's Bryce think about this plan? Her face crumpled. Bryce is gone. He moved back to Phoenix last week. Ah, so the great love affair is over. It was never a love affair, it was just… I don't know what it was. It was you blowing up your life for Instagram likes and validation from a guy who couldn't even pay his bills. She started crying again, but this time it seemed genuine. I know I screwed up everything. I just want to start over somewhere else. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out the divorce papers Dave had prepared. Sign these. She read through them quickly, her face getting paler with each page. Julian, this settlement, it's almost nothing. It's exactly what you're entitled to under state law when the marriage ends due to adultery. I can't live on this. Then get a job, learn a skill, do what everyone else does. She picked up the pen with shaking hands. If I sign this, you'll keep the photos private? I'll keep them private as long as you stay out of my life, permanently. She signed every page without another word. After she left, I sat in my office looking out at the town where I'd built my success, where I'd thought I'd found love, where I'd learned that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones planning to hurt you most. My phone rang. It was my mother. How did it go? It's over. She signed everything. Good. You coming for dinner? Yeah, Mom. I'll be there. As I drove to my mother's house, I thought about the mansion sitting empty, waiting for the right family to fill it with real love and honest laughter. I thought about Tara, probably packing her designer clothes and wondering how she'd fallen so far so fast. I thought about Bryce, running back to Phoenix with his tail between his legs. But mostly, I thought about the lesson I'd learned, that sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's just stopping being a victim. 6 months later, I sold the mansion to a young family with 3 kids who promised to fill the pool with laughter and the rooms with memories worth keeping. I used the profit to expand my business and buy my mother a new car. Tara moved to Los Angeles, where she works at a boutique and has about 300 Instagram followers. Bryce's gym was foreclosed on, and last I heard, he was selling insurance in Scottsdale. As for me, I learned that sometimes losing everything you thought you wanted is the only way to figure out what you actually need. And what I needed was to stop letting other people write my story. I was the villain in their story, but I wrote the ending myself.